Welcome to Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine. I'm your host, Jill Jardine, Master's in Counseling Psychology, longtime astrologer, psychic healer, and yogi. In this episode, I'm going to share the astrology update for September 2025. Stay tuned until the end of the episode when I give my sun sign predictions for each zodiac sign. Welcome to the September slapdown as one of the most active astrological months of 2025 as we slip and slide into eclipse season and revisit retrograde redux. Stay tuned till the end of the episode when I give my sun sign forecast for each sign. I will share the key dates and astrological activities during the month of September and then go back and give you more details. Welcome to the Eclipse Shit Show. September saunters in Saturnian style as the Lord of Karma, Saturn, retrogrades back into Pisces on September 1st, joining other retrograde planets, Pluto pulsing retro in Aquarius, Neptune backtracking through Aries, and then Uranus undulates retro in Gemini on September 7th. Just in time for the lunar eclipse, throwing more havoc into the mix. Here are the key dates for September 2025. From September 1st through 11/29, Saturn retrogrades back into Pisces, prompting a review of emotional boundaries. From September 2nd through September 18th, Mercury transits Virgo. Here we go, September 7th. But before that, on September 6th through the 7th, depending on where you live, Uranus is retrograding in Gemini. Then on the 7th, we have the lunar eclipse, blood full moon in Pisces. On September 18th, Mercury moves into Libra. September 19th, Venus enters Virgo. On September 21st, here we go, new moon solar eclipse in Virgo. And then on September 22nd, Mars enters Scorpio. And also on September 22nd, the Sun enters Libra, marking the beginning of astrological autumn. If you're in the northern hemisphere, it's astrological spring in the southern hemisphere. And then we get to ride the rest of the month without major transits. So let's see what's going down. We start the month with Saturn retrograding in Pisces. So we get to revisit lessons around spiritual discipline and karmic accountability. It's time to reflect and release. And again, you have until the end of November, till the 29th, to enjoy Saturn's last visit in Pisces until another 29 years from now. So guess what, Pisces? You're in the hot seat. And you too, Virgo. With Saturn being retrograde, we then have Uranus join the retrograde mix of Pluto, Neptune, Saturn, and Uranus and Saturn retrograde together will create emotional and mental repatterning. So September invites deep retrospection and introspection. Surrender old patterns and allow compassionate understanding to guide you on your way. So the Uranus retrograde is kind of a big deal because it could throw some more cray-cray into the collective mix. Here's the details about Uranus retrograding. And again, it's in Gemini. It starts September 6th at 1 degree Gemini. It continues retrograding through Gemini until it moves into Taurus on November 7th, 2025. So Taurians, you're back in the hot seat of having unexpected things come your way. Get ready. You'll be in the cosmic blender once again. But it does end up a 7-year cycle of not knowing if you're coming and going. And that retrograde spell in Taurus ends finally on February 3rd, 2026. So perhaps walk carefully and carry a big stick at the end of 2026. So what will happen with Uranus retrograde? We're going to go from these external shocks, hello, look at the news, surprise, 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 to internally integrating all of it so we can change ourselves from the inside out. Uranus, the planet of innovation and rebellion, typically shakes up the external world when it's direct. In retrograde, the revolution turns inward. Ideas, communication, routines, and even our identity become ripe for re-examination. So use this time wisely. Again, it really goes from September 6th, 2025 to February 3rd, 2026. That's September, October, November, December, January, 5 months of internal process. And then when it's retrograde in Gemini until November 7th, think of all things Gemini: communication, siblings, learning. We can look at our mind and rewrite our programs, break free from limiting thought patterns. And then when it goes into Taurus from November 7th through February 3rd, November, December, January, that's 3 months, we get to look at our money again and be like, uh-oh, how can I be financially solvent? Our values, how can we be more stable? Uranus and Taurus is trying to push us to more stability. What are our resources? What can we do to bring some more security in? It's transformative, yet perhaps more gentle when Uranus goes back into Taurus instead of the air sign where it's all electric. We got to look at what really matters in our life. And so all of this is happening, the retrograde of Saturn and Uranus, before the lunar eclipse of September 7th. Coupled with Uranus recently retrograde, this eclipse accelerates emotional release, breaking open subconscious blocks for deeper insight, especially around identity and subtle communication patterns. So pick and choose who you want to spend time with here in early September, because it could get a little wild. And this lunar eclipse is in Pisces, with the moon right smack in the middle of that sign at 15 degrees Pisces and the sun smack in the middle of Virgo. It will bring emotional intensity and potential revelations. So get ready. Eclipse season is officially here with a blood full moon lunar eclipse, with that moon in Pisces and sun in Virgo arriving on September 7th at 2:09 p.m. Eastern Time. This is the corn moon. This full moon will also experience a blood total lunar eclipse, which will temporarily turn the moon red. So don't freak out. Just go inside and chant Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha and Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. In the Vedic teachings, that is what is recommended during a lunar eclipse, especially a blood moon. Remember, this used to really shake up the ancients when they would see not only the moon disappear, but it turned a blood red when it did reappear. So what happens after a blood full moon lunar eclipse in the coming months and years are major changes, including regime changes. The visibility of this eclipse will be in Europe, Africa, Asia, and Australia. So those areas will be hit with some earth changes probably. Be prepared for revealings and exposure of hidden information, as always with lunar eclipses. The news will certainly be shocking. Because this is happening with a Pisces moon, make sure your boundaries are intact, as they will certainly be tested during this eclipse. Protect your field, seal your aura, and don't let your energy seep out to those people, situations, or media blasts that will be seeking your attention and energy. Remember, energy flows where attention goes, so we have to use the Virgo vigilance and be very discerning where we put our time and energy in early September. Virgo, where the sun is physical health and rules medicine and traditional health interventions, but also nutrition and food, while Pisces rules spiritual and healing energy and can also be considered a sign where we may leak energy. So be prepared at this full moon lunar eclipse for health alerts on new viruses being perpetuated in the collective. Pisces, where the moon is a water sign, so there might also be more drownings, news of boats sinking, water inundations, flooding, and water-related crisis. On a positive note, this is a highly spiritual time to tune in and tune out the noise out there. The moon is full in Pisces, a water sign. So this can be very emotional, a time of romance, fertilization, and relationships. And with the full moon occurring along the Virgo Pisces polarity, it's also considered a service axis in astrology. The axis of Virgo Pisces deals with the balance between day-to-day functions and routines, physical health, and the need for order, symbolized by Virgo, and the spiritual self, non-structure, the nebulous, and potential enlightenment, as symbolized by Pisces. Virgo rules the practical, how we deal with the day-to-day life, while Pisces rules our spiritual life. The key to balance lies in identifying and expressing our spiritual needs while maintaining order in our everyday lives. Or, as they might say in an Arabic country, tie up your camel and pray to Allah. Make sure you get both sides covered. The Sabian symbol for this Pisces full moon at 15 degrees Pisces is, quote, an officer instructing his men before a simulated assault under a barrage of live shells. The keynote is, quote, the need for thorough rehearsing before any complex and inherently dangerous social ritual in which power is used or evoked. And as always, I get my information from Dane Rudar's Sabian symbol book, An Astrological Mandala. Unfortunately, that does not seem like the best Sabian symbol for an eclipse full moon. And we know there are plenty of leaders out there who do abuse their power. So we have to be very vigilant and watch for any kind of alert to go to arms. Another more modern interpretation of this Sabian symbol for 15 degrees Pisces is an officer preparing to drill his men. The importance of this is that the symbol represents readiness, attentiveness, training, and the dedication of individuals to a group or community goal. It highlights the importance of constant awareness and alertness, the ability to act with cheerfulness when the time is right, and a sense of preparing for a future task without unnecessary impatience or complaint. This symbol can also be seen as a call to cultivate a strong sense of purpose and a commitment to something larger than oneself, whether a personal goal, a community project, or a spiritual endeavor. It suggests that true power lies not in force, but in refined character and cheerful preparedness for action. So we can all use these keynotes and look at our life and look at how are we with readiness to move forward, attentiveness, being attentive and alert to the moment and the needs of what the moment requires. Also cheerfulness. And an important aspect of readiness is approaching any moment of action with cheerfulness and joy, which can uplift not only yourself, but all involved. Which means having self-awareness, the importance of recognizing your own ability to adjust to life's changes and trusting your heart when the mind, Virgo, might be befuddled. So it's a very powerful full moon lunar eclipse. And as with eclipses, it can bring delays. Probably not the best time to travel, as is with Mercury retrograde. Things may not go as planned, so we really have to be flexible. It's a really good time to connect within because external situations could be a little crazy, especially with Uranus retrograding the day before. That might affect communications, travel, power grids, and the like. So be prepared to be very flexible and basically change plans if necessary. And I've noticed already as we are approaching September that there's a lot of electronic and electrical things going a little haywire. So just be ready to roll with that. And maybe we're being tested. Maybe we're being tested to see how is it to go without having your phone for a day or your computer or some of these other modern, what have become modern necessities. How is it to go back to the basics? That's what this eclipse might be testing us on. And then we flash forward till the next big transit. So luckily we have a couple weeks to integrate that first eclipse of September 2025. and then we get ready for the next phase. So September will certainly feel like 2 distinct months. We have from the beginning till about mid-months, about the 18th. And then we have the second phase. So Mercury will move out of virtuous Virgo into loving Libra on September 18th and stay there till October 6th. So remember, Mercury is the thinking, communication, perception, learning, daily interaction planet. And coming into Libra, it's going to bring in more balance, harmony, fairness, look at relationships, and diplomacy. So if anything actually did get stirred up at that eclipse on September 7th, Mercury comes to the rescue in Libra, bringing in diplomatic communication, wanting to smooth rough edges, avoid conflict, and seek common ground. It will also bring in relational thinking, considering others' perspectives, and we think is versus me thinking. So people can be on the same page and there's more diplomacy. It also will give an aesthetic perception. So go out there and check out a museum, appreciation for beauty, art, design, and even the way ideas are presented. So it's a really good time to listen to somebody else's perception, and perhaps even just listening may be a key to dealing with Mercury in Libra instead of trying to get your point across. It's a really good time when Mercury's in Libra for partnership, conversations, negotiations, collaborations, and peacemaking.
Rock and roll.
And so that will be a nice transit. And around the same time, we have Venus leaving Leo and vibing into Virgo, where she has to restrain herself from September 18th to October 13th. And remember, Venus is the planet and goddess of love, pleasure, relationships, beauty, values, money. And then Virgo is service, healing, discernment, and refinement, routine, practical details. So Venus feels a little bit constricted because she wants to love loud and proud, but in Virgo, she has to be more grounded. She has to have some restraint, perhaps focus to service-oriented activities, acts of service as a love language. Let me help you fix this, take care of details. She also will revel in simplicity and purity. And it's actually really good and helpful for bringing anything under control in your life, including your wellness and your routines and regimes, refine your finances, relationships, and creative projects. And so Venus and Virgo can help really look at how to get things in order and handle the life in a simplistic way. However, when she's in Virgo, she can be overcritical towards self or others, a little bit perfectionist, and maybe wanting more in her relationships or with herself. And so she can throw a little bit of a negative slant on things. So that's the first phase of September. And then we move into new rhythms and the reboot as the solar eclipse and equinox arrive. You might consider planting seeds for wellness, meaningful habits, and creative systems that support your long-term goals. And here we go. The solar eclipse seeps in on September 21st, 2025, at the last degree of Virgo, 29 degrees. This is considered one of the most pivotal astrological events of 2025. This is the second Virgo new moon in 2025. The first one was on August 23rd. That one was not eclipsed. Now, the Virgo new moon on September 21st, 2025 is eclipsed. We're really being asked to get our shit together and our life in order. And since eclipses are turbocharged new moons, this one will initiate powerful endings and beginnings coming as a result with long-term ripple effects. This new moon solar eclipse is with the sun and moon conjunct, with the moon blocking the sun, signaling a reset of consciousness as the sun is our consciousness. And again, Sun and Moon, both in Virgo, is related to purification, healing, routines, systems, health, service, discernment, refinement, and just getting things in order. Whenever something happens at the 29 degrees of a sign, it's considered an anaretic degree, which means it's fated. Things that will happen around that time. Perhaps you don't have any control of. There's a lot of destiny that goes on. And it's certainly a time of endings, 29, the last degree of a sign. But the weird paradox is it's a new moon, which traditionally suggests new beginnings. However, I would say put any plans for launching new things on hold and wait at least a few days until after that new moon. In fact, I'd wait until we're in the new season of the equinox that follows after the 22nd. So, with this culmination of energy, it suggests collectively that we're finishing an old cycle of Virgo themes, which again are health, healing, purification, what discernment may come into more of a role where people aren't getting away with behaviors, actions, and speech that they have been able to get away with. Libra is more about negotiation and thinking of the other and not oneself. This eclipse is strongly tied to the early one, the 7th of September, Pisces Lunar Eclipse, meaning we're still clearing emotional debris from the Pisces release to prepare for the Virgo practical, grounded new path. So what we see happening out there in the collective is that there's going to be some major collective conversations about healthcare, wellness practices. Get ready with the vaccine information coming out and how people are going to handle whatever is happening with disease control, cancer, and other epidemic situations that are going to be around. However, on a positive sign for those of us who have been in the holistic healing fields for years, there may be more of an openness toward embracing that and a new awareness around mind-body balance or revelations about healing the systemic health issue or going to the root and not just the symptoms. Wouldn't that be nice? We've been waiting for that for a long time. And then the thing about Virgo, it's also ruling service. And that means your job or what you do for work. So we're going to see some interesting shifts. Service has been maybe put on a back burner, and people are going to realize that service is the freedom of the soul. So there'll be more focus on serving humanity. Hopefully, we'll also see systems get purified, more organization, order, global discussions about cleaning up corruption, inefficiency, environment issues, or broken systems. We're talking global, but maybe also national. Wouldn't that be nice? But also those in power. Health issues might occur for those leaders in power, others in powers. We may see health issues popping up out of nowhere, which always happens anyway in eclipses. And remember, as I've said in earlier podcasts, go and check out all my previous podcasts over the last 5 years on eclipses. People tend to die around eclipses, but certainly in the months after them. So we may see that more people leaving their bodies. And I don't mean this in a macabre way, but it just seems to be that it's a window. If you've been waiting to leave your body and go to the next realm or level of consciousness, eclipses can help you go through the turbo vortex to the higher realms or to wherever the soul's supposed to be. So, of course, we're going to see that there could be certain issues around health and healing that are amplifying the loss of life. So it's a very interesting time, and that's on the 21st of September. The Sabian symbol for that anaretic degree of 29 Virgo is, I love this, quote, "A seeker after occult knowledge is reading an ancient scroll which illumines his mind. The keynote is after crisis, one should seek to realign with the renewed consciousness." So interesting, with September seeming like potentially 2 months, we have that preparing the troops are preparing, drilling the start. And then we have a consciousness shift with the seeker reading the ancient scroll. And so a man gaining secret knowledge, a human gaining secret knowledge from an ancient scroll they are reading. Ancient knowledge means accessing wisdom from the past, esoteric teachings, or sacred traditions. Hidden scrolls are usually concealed and now revealed. Learning truths that once kept secret. And I think this is more than just esoteric. It could be related to anything. Government related hidden information, leaders that are in power, information being revealed, even things about our friends who visit from other galactic systems. Disclosure could come into play here. So this will be a time at the end of September from the 21st on of inner initiation, because at the end of Virgo's journey, the last degree before Libra, it's about transcending mere facts and analysis and moving into wisdom and higher understanding. This last or final Virgo degree is sometimes considered a spiritual transition point. It's integration of the rational mind with mystical insight, preparing for Libra's realm of relationship and balance. So this is wild because this will add a mystical dimension to this solar eclipse as hidden truths surface globally. There will be whistleblowing and hidden systems revealed. And as we've seen, people are trying to wake up as more esoteric wisdom and certainly astrology, what we specialize in and have for years, and more people trying to find their soul connection through ancient healing practices and spiritual practices. So it could be a really fun time because we can access higher teachings, mentors, and spiritual traditions that help integrate body, mind, and spirit. There's also this sense of something coming to culmination and revelations that feel destined. So it's actually really kind of an exciting time with this eclipse. The Sabian symbol for 29 degrees Virgo basically deepens the eclipse meaning that it's not just about routines and systems, but about receiving ancient hidden wisdom that guides humanity into a new cycle of balance. Woohoo! And then we have the sun transiting into Libra on September 22nd at 2:19 p.m., marking the fall equinox in the northern hemisphere and the spring equinox in the southern hemisphere. And we're out of eclipse season until another 6 months. However, the fallout shall be pretty challenging. But now we come into Libra, where we're out of the Virgo Pisces axis of eclipses for this year. It comes back next year. And the fall equinox is a time of equanimity and balance. So hopefully we can all find that. People have celebrated the fall equinox, also called the autumnal equinox, for centuries. In the northern hemisphere, the September equinox coincides with the fall harvest. And many harvest festivals take place on or around the fall equinox. Our harvest moon this year isn't going to be until October 6th. As I said, the full moon on the 7th of September is known as the corn moon, the harvesting of the corn. On the autumnal equinox, day and night are of nearly equal length across the planet. Ancient cultures didn't have clocks to calculate minutes of daytime and nighttime, but they could measure the sun's position geometrically, and at this time, they would help to recalibrate their timing. Through the energy of the Libra sun, which shines through October 22nd, so from the September 22nd to October 22nd this year, we become aware of the need for relationships and all that comes with maintaining them, compromising, negotiation, graciousness, and balancing. The focus is on diplomacy, balance, and fairness, and maybe bringing things back into balance after the crazy earlier time of the first 3 weeks of September. And as I said, put on your seatbelts, buckle up. September is probably the most busiest astrological month of the year. And we'll feel the fallout October, November, and December. But we'll know where we stand and we'll know how to move forward into the new year. So getting everything out of the way in September is going to be perhaps a blessing as we know what we need to look at and deal with, both personally and collectively going forward. Stay tuned to see how the energy of September will affect your zodiac sign. Hey, Cosmic Scene listeners, Jill Jardine here, and I've got something out of this world to share with you. Introducing the Cosmic Tower, a revolutionary energy harmonizing device designed to uplift your space, restore vitality, and bring coherence to your life. It's like plugging into the cosmos right from your living room. These towers are transforming homes, clearing EMFs, and awakening higher frequencies. And now you can experience it for yourself. I recently received my very own Cosmic Tower, and the experience has been truly magical. I've been feeling drained from work with physical pain flaring up, but within 2 hours of setting up the tower, my energy returned, my spirit lifted, and I felt ready for life again. I am so excited to be living with the Cosmic Tower and want you to learn more about it too. So check out thewellnessenterprise.com and tap into the frequency of the future. And guess what? If you use the code COSMIC10, that's capital COSMIC, all capitals, 10, Cosmic 10 at checkout for 10% off your own Cosmic Tower. Welcome to the part of the episode you've been waiting for, sun sign forecast for September 2025. Starting with the birthday kids, Virgo, happy birthday. However, ruh-roh, Virgo, the eclipses are hitting you hard, as are Mercury and the Piscean retro of Saturn. Therefore, do not make any major decisions this month. There's a disturbance in the force, and you're not your normal rational self. You might be overly emotional, especially on the Pisces full moon lunar eclipse of September 7th. Wait until after the Virgo new moon, by the way, your second new moon, solar eclipse of September 21st to initiate anything new. And I'd even wait a few days after the equinox of the 22nd. So maybe by the 25th, you're good to go and start initiating. Your lucky days, Virgo, are September 2nd and September 22nd. Libra, love from Uranus in Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius accelerates your life. Watch for getting frustrated easily because of Neptune opposing your sun. However, this is a great time for socialization and relationships flourish, especially after the 22nd. Buckle up and finish incomplete projects earlier in the month. Your lucky days, Libra, are September 22nd and 23rd. Scorpio, Jupiter in Cancer throws love and light your way, so you feel a sense of ease and grace now as things flow easily. You just sit back and watch the collective fireworks. Pay some attention now to your creative pursuits. Dig deep into your own psyche and uncover the treasures waiting there for you to unpack. Your lucky days, Scorpio, are September 24th and 25th. Sagittarius, Sag is thriving on the fire and air outer planets, giving you a big boost. However, Virgo is not helping you at all. Aries, Neptune, and Saturn retrograding help you complete tasks with ease, and Uranus, Gemini, and Pluto Aquarius brings excitement and rewires your brain. Virgo planet squaring your sun creates delays and frustrations. Do your inner work, Sag, and focus on health and improving your vitality. Your lucky days are September 1st, 26th, and 27th. Capricorn, organization is important for Capricorn in order to ride the whirlwind of air and fire outer planets. Breathe deeply and do some inner work to weather the outer storms. It is not business as usual. Focus on setting up structures to get you through the season, but don't implement anything until late September. Shift your attitudes regarding scarcity and get your money house in order. Your lucky days, Capricorn, are September 2nd and 3rd. Aquarius, Pluto retrograde in your sign gives you the time to integrate the intensity of the past months. New potentials pop up everywhere. Neptune going through Aries has been hinting at new beginnings, which will take hold in 2026. Your chart ruler Uranus still is going through Gemini, fellow air sign, making for some expansion of consciousness. Watch and wait as the collective cray-cray unfolds in September. Be ready to act when the sun goes into fellow air sign Libra at month's end. Your lucky days, Aquarius, are September 4th and 5th. Pisces, you're in the hot seat. You and Virgo are being rocked by the eclipses. Jupiter in Cancer is helping you out, though, sending healing and promoting retreats and escape. It might be a good idea to get out of Dodge during September, as it could be a little chaotic for Pisces. Your world, as I said, is rocked from September 7th to the 21st. So you have to be very vigilant in protecting your health and well-being and protecting your auric field from interlopers and other interferences. Get your groove on early in the month on the 5th and 6th before the storm set in and you batten down the hatches starting on the 7th. Aries, hooray, hooray! Saturn has left the building. Temporarily only, as it has left your sign until D-Day, Friday, February 13th, 2026, when it returns and cracks the whip for 2 more years. But for now, enjoy the break. The upshot is to make hay for the next few months and clean up your crap. Or Saturn will force you to put it into baggies and throw it out next year. Wrap up past situations and organize financial obligations. Your lucky days, Aries, are September 8th and 9th. Taurus, Uranus transiting your second house of resources take you on a financial roller coaster. Money comes in and goes out. Taurus doesn't like economic instability, so go walk out in nature and take your mind off of it. You could have a big boon if you call in your spiritual guides, and they may raise your kundalini so that you are confirmed that you're doing the best thing you can. But get grounded and keep telling yourself, I'm good enough, I'm strong enough, and gosh darn it, people like me, and watch the wheel of fortune spin in your favor. Your lucky days, Taurus, are September 10th, 11th, and 12th. Gemini, you're riding the wild whirlwind of Uranus and Gemini. A little while longer before you get a break and then get 7 years of it. So this forces you to be flexible and maybe even take some risks, but I'd wait until the eclipses are over, till month's end. It's important to breathe deeply, take your foot off the acceleration pedal, and learn how to relax into your inner self. Quit complaining and start living. Watch those rash words that are flying out of your mouth and learn restraint. Virgo will help you with that. Your lucky days, Gemini, are the 13th and 14th. Cancer. It's a good time to be a Cancerian as Jupiter transits your sign of exaltation. And even all this crazy ecliptic energy in Virgo and Pisces, they're still throwing some nice aspects to you. So you can feel the love from Earth Goddess Virgo, reaping the harvest of all those seeds you planted around your birthday. Virgo might even help you keep your appetites in check, both for food and carnal pleasures. But these eclipses might trigger some overindulgences, so continue to be prudent. Your lucky days, Cancer, are September 15th and 16th. Leo, until September 19th, Venus transits through your sign. Your charm and charisma will skyrocket to higher levels. Make hay, though, while the sun shines. You can still dazzle in every aspect of life, attracting admiration and winning over those around you. A lucky aura will encircle you throughout the month. You radiate love, despite all the cray-cray happening around you. Don't forget, those eclipses are happening in your 2nd and 8th house of money. So watch the money, honey, and don't overspend and overindulge. Your lucky days, Leo, are September 17th and 18th. I hope you enjoyed this episode on the astrology of September 2025. Remember to download, subscribe, share, and give us a 5-star review. This is Cosmic Scene with Jill Jardine, sending cosmic currents of healing to mitigate the ecliptic mix in September of 2025. through the quantum field. Ah!